Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Every day there are countless books and articles that are published offering the key on how to make your business a success. It's easy to feel overwhelmed trying to keep up and run your business. That's why Deb Creer created the Business Power Hour. Keep up on the latest trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. Let the Business Power Hour do the heavy work for you.
Good morning. Good morning. I am Deb Creer, and I am passionate about giving professionals the tools that they need to make themselves and their businesses as successful as possible. And we are going to have such a great discussion today because we're going to be talking about how to become a better you, right? This is going to be so much fun. And more importantly, how can you make sure that your employees, people you're working with, people you're helping, how can you make sure that you're helping them also? So please join me in welcoming Dr. E.K. Mallela to our program today. Welcome, Dr. E.K. How are you doing?
Hi, Deborah. Thank you for having me on the show. And I'm really excited to be here. And thanks for the great introduction. It's a great opportunity for me to connect with the more global audience and share what I'm passionate about in helping, especially the corporate employees, overcome the burnout, stress, and it almost live 7 years younger.
I know. I haven't been in corporate America in a long time, and I don't want to be because of burnout and stress. But, little small entrepreneurs feel all this also. And so that's what's going to be so great about your program today. Well, let me tell people a little bit about you, and then we will jump into this.
Yes.
Dr. E.K. Mallela is the founder and CEO of Transcend Mind, the results-driven coaching company redefining success for leaders and organizations. With a doctorate in health information sciences, certifications in clinical hypnosis and NLP, and executive leadership training from Harvard and MIT, Dr. E.K. fuses neuroscience, AI-driven nutrition and fitness plans, Eastern wisdom, and performance psychology into one powerful transformation system. Through his flagship BetterYOU Employee Wellness Program, Dr. E.K. has helped organizations with more than 50 employees boost productivity, reduce turnover, and elevate performance cultures using science-backed strategies that deliver measurable ROI. That's very important, right? Because we want to keep track of that. His programs have improved engagement scores, reduced absenteeism, and strengthened collaboration across teams, creating healthier, more profitable workspaces. He is also the author of Better You, The Fortunate Way to Success. So again, Dr. E.K., how are you?
Wonderful. Thank you again, Deb, for that great introduction and telling more about what we do, and what we are passionate about. As you said, I like helping individuals and the corporations alike in overcoming stress, burnout, and achieving, actually using their self-mastery and wellness as a strategic advantage in achieving either the business success or the individual success. Because a lot of times what we see is we push hard to do things, motivate, and a lot of people are successful in working harder, but when it comes to doing the easier things of self-care and using understanding that their mind is their biggest asset, and investing in that and in their body, in their wellness, will actually drive the success on autopilot, is where we are in a counterintuitive, almost we would say, like counterintuitive way of actually achieving success. Instead of pushing harder and harder, we try to instead try to help ourselves in a way that we are actually feeling better, doing better, have tons of energy, and then letting that our capacity of mind come to our rescue at a critical times of decision. That way you're not leaving opportunities on table, you're not working harder because you miss the main chances, right? So same goes with the companies and individuals. If they can prioritize their mind, body, and their goals, they will every day wake up on autopilot, achieving that
Mm-hmm.
goals instead of struggling to sleep,
Mm-hmm.
struggling to put off the weight, struggling to it's almost like as you say, strategic cancer, right? If your
Mm-hmm.
strategy fails, your success fails.
Mm-hmm.
As Tony Robbins said, your strategy or success is 80% psychology and 20% mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to use that strategy for our success, because
Mm-hmm.
you have a strategy, then you have success. Otherwise you're not successful. When it comes to strategy in a lot of things that accomplished people do in the business, and they are able to have a strategy, but when it comes to their mind, their body, their wellness, they just whack it, and then there is no strategy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where we come in helping them prioritize their well-being
Mm-hmm.
in their body and their fitness, nutrition, their mind, their
Mm-hmm.
psychology, and unlocking that 80%, which will drive the success on
Mm-hmm.
autopilot instead of them chasing it.
Right. I love that. And it is something that I think, when we're just doing the work harder, work harder, work harder, that's where we get burnout.
Yes.
But I want to know a little bit more about how it is that you got to where you are today, because you have very impressive credentials that, as I mentioned, kind of cross many different types of platforms.
Yes, yes, great question. Actually, I was in corporate, you won't believe it. So I was working hard. I was pushing through the burnout. I worked almost 20 years in corporate. I was almost like 100 pounds over. Then I
Mm-hmm.
was stuck as a manager despite I had so many skills. I was doing everything right. I also had ADHD, and like everything was every question I had was almost ballooning in my mind and keeping me struck. I
Mm-hmm.
needed answers to why I'm so struck despite of having so much talent.
Mm-hmm.
So I started understanding the way mind works.
Mm-hmm.
Started studying meditation, Ayurveda. Slowly, I started accumulating a lot of knowledge about how mind works, body
Mm-hmm.
works, alternative ways of understanding the mind, why I'm so stuck, and why many people are stuck. When I
Mm-hmm.
started doing it, I started doing better in my work. I
Mm-hmm.
started getting promotion. I became director. I completed my doctorate, and then I wanted to learn more. So I did my board certification in clinical hypnotherapy. Started doing
Mm-hmm.
trials on
Mm-hmm.
why people are so stuck, and then I traveled from Kashmir, understanding from the monks the change work. Actually, why how they influence change. I work with James Tripp from England in understanding the change work he does in helping people quit smoking, to
Mm-hmm.
quit addictions, to
Mm-hmm.
achieving what they want. So I studied through change masters, understanding why people change, what
Mm-hmm.
influences change. So I accumulated almost. I spent $500,000 of my own money to understand the
Wow.
things, and accumulated so much of
Mm-hmm.
knowledge that I suddenly started closing $1 million in
Mm-hmm.
sales. I turned last three companies I worked for, they never had $1 million in sales. Their first $1 million in it sold out to bigger corporations. And that led me to believe that what I have is a very high competitive advantage. More I
Mm-hmm.
prioritize my wellness, my mind
Mm-hmm.
mastery, more competitive I
Mm-hmm.
became, more I was able to get more deals done, get
Mm-hmm.
more outcomes done. I became an executive, almost hit the C-suite level. Then at the same time, I experienced a very horrible event. So my own loved ones were suffering in stress, burnout, like there are a lot of stress, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
putting up the weight. Why I almost became anger. Like if I walk with my daughter, they would think I'm her brother now, not her father.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, she has to convince, no, he's not my brother, he's my father.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's how I changed. But then my people around me were still stuck and experiencing burnout. One of the
Mm-hmm.
employees who was as competitive as me, on the day he received best employee award, he was walking his home, entered the driveway and
Mm-hmm.
opened his car, and then suddenly collapsed
Oh
and
no.
entered into coma.
Mm-hmm.
He stayed in coma for 6 years. Doctor said it's because of the high stress he
Mm-hmm.
had.
Right.
And
He just shut down.
Yeah, he just the mechanism shut down, and
Mhm,
he had a supportive wife. Somehow she
mhm,
worked hard to recover him.
mhm,
Even if he came out of the coma, he still has so many side effects. So
mhm,
this led me to believe what I had in my repertory was not just competitive advantage, but a need for everyone to experience that they need to prioritize their wellness, their
mhm,
fitness, their mind, not stress so
mhm,
much to achieve anything. I didn't have to stress anymore to achieve, because I achieved more when I was
mhm,
stopped stressing, actually
mhm,
de-stressing, and then using it as a strategy to achieve more and
mhm,
more. So I wanted others to feel the same way. So I started Transcend Mind company and started offering this as a program to executives from all walks of life and leaders and travelers. Someone wanted to, quit watching porn, become
mhm,
traveler, or
mhm,
someone had a smoking issue but
mhm,
wanted to do trading. Someone was just experiencing procrastination, burnout, but wanted to be more decision making.
mhm,
They all had like something to quit, something to achieve all the
mhm,
time. So I was able to deeply reprogram their
mhm,
unconscious through clinical hypnotherapy, and also help them achieve, because when their mind is working, then their body has to come along. So they don't want
mhm,
to feel disconnect. So I also started helping with them with the nutrition.
mhm,
So I partnered during this time with Nuvita Wellness Solutions.
mm,
Together, we they had the national experience already and a program in this field, and so we integrated the AI technology with their apps, and started offering to the companies. So together we have almost 200 clients that we influence through
mhm,
corporate wellness, from small credit
mhm,
union to global companies like Pfizer and GE.
mhm,
We are able to help employees experience this change
mhm,
without them having to quit the jobs and take sick leaves.
mhm,
So when we started changing, the companies almost experience 40% reduction in turnover,
mm,
absenteeism, sick days, and they started seeing immediate ROI.
mhm,
Their people started saying, we have testimonials that every
mhm,
employee came out say, we lost the diabetic risk. We are feeling 7 years younger
mm,
now. We are feeling much tons of energy at
mhm,
work. Our bottom line has improved because they are
mhm,
contributing more. They like to work for the company that cares about their wellness,
mhm.
so they
Right.
stay more, right? So
Mhm,
it kind of almost like a influence after influence that
mhm,
happens because you started prioritizing
mhm.
yourself.
Right. And I love that you talk about the combination of the mind and the body, because it all works together, right? And you know, eh, we are hopefully past the days of when people were workaholics, right? They literally worked themselves into the ground. And I know, and especially when we are the executive, when we are the business owner, we think we have to have the longest hours. We have to, do all of those things. And of course, it does reach a point where your body and your mind are tired, and they're saying, let's go home. And it's so funny because I was, looking around on Facebook before we were chatting, and and so the day that we are recording this, it is World Relaxation Day. And I just thought that was such an interesting coincidence. Maybe not. Maybe it's supposed to be this way, right? Because I think one of the things that we all think we can't do or shouldn't do as the boss is relax. And of course, with the mind, you teach numerous techniques on how to do that. And our bodies also need to relax too. I tell people, I've turned into a kindergartner. I have to nap every day. And so I lay down and I rest. Sometimes I sleep, sometimes I don't. But it's just kind of that 15, 20 minutes of not thinking about business, because that's the other thing. You want your entire relaxation. But then I am far more productive for the rest of the day. And 20 years ago, 10 years ago, we would have thought, well, that's laziness. And so talk to us about the fact that it's not laziness, it's really important.
Yes. That's a great point you just made. Like we used in the olden days, it used to be thinking that like we push harder. If you're not pushing harder, even parents used to coach like,
Hmm.
"Hey, push harder, push
Right.
harder, push harder,"
Work
and
through the
then we
pain.
to the pain. And then when the science and technology started developing, no, actually, the
Mhm,
way your most of the capacity of mind works is through relaxation.
mhm,
I'm going to share an important theory why this is a huge difference, that relaxation is the way to go.
mhm,
We have in our body two types of nervous system. One is sympathetic nervous system,
mhm,
one is parasympathetic
mhm,
nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system, which drives our conscious efforts,
mhm.
is actually only 10% of our capacity.
Right.
And it's kind of almost doing the chemical functions like kicking
Mm,
the adrenaline and
okay.
cortisols.
Okay.
So whatever your chemical needs are through the
Mhm,
sympathetic nervous, even the sympathetic seems like the way to be sympathetic and nice, but it's kind of kicking the pain
mhm,
cycle, reacting to
mhm,
anger, fear,
mhm,
self-doubt, and shame.
mhm,
So when this kicks in, we are only engaged in conscious effort, and the conscious effort can only do three things: decision making, analysis, and willpower.
mhm,
So you're always stuck in whether they make a right decision, or you're using almost working like a
mhm,
scientist, analyzing everything,
mhm,
everything, and then getting stuck in this cycle of
mhm,
fear, shame, and
mhm,
guilt. So you're never getting out of this cycle because you're always engaging in the
mhm.
sympathetic push of your
Right.
chemicals, and trying to engage
Mhm,
your conscious
mhm,
effort of decision
mhm,
making. And then rest of your body, including your body that need to digest, to process,
mhm,
to memorize, to
mhm,
habituate, and the executive function, which is dependent on your prefrontal cortex,
mhm,
that even lights up, even your pineal gland opens up
mhm,
only when you're relaxed. Even your auditory system
mhm,
that need for communication
mhm,
only engages, like you said, there is a throat issue, right? So only engages when you can relax.
mhm,
Otherwise you will choke, you cannot sleep, you will
mhm,
procrastinate. All
mhm,
this happen because you're engaging in a high
mhm,
adrenaline activity. So it is now scientifically proven that you have to relax in order to engage your 90% of the capacity
mhm,
of your mind and
mhm,
body, which include trillions of your cells, which
mhm,
store all your memory and
mhm,
habit. So it is so important now that science has proven that more you relax, the more relaxed persons are more successful,
mhm,
because that kicks in, opens up their
mhm,
executive function, their vision
mhm,
center, their auditory function, their
mhm,
creativity, energies. All this get engaged
mhm,
when you are relaxed. You are losing so much of capacity trying to engage in only decision making,
mhm,
analysis, and willpower, and that is just 10%, and we are
mhm,
losing 90% of our capacity,
mhm,
not just because we are not relaxing
mhm,
and not prioritizing our nutrition, fitness, and so many things. So the science, this is a science-backed fact, and also the case studies have proven that the more person is relaxed, more executive the person is, more the executive
mhm,
presence that they carry drives their vision,
mhm,
drives their activities, drives their success.
mhm. Right. Well, and when that sympathetic system is wound up, right, and working hard, our blood pressure goes up, our heart rate goes up, our digestion gets all messed up, and all of these things, and that is where we have the people who literally work themselves into a heart attack or a stroke, or they just say, I'm not going to do this anymore, right? I'm done. I'm quitting. And that's where the burnout comes in, because they have been at that high level of tension almost, that pretty soon something's got to give. I mean, we cannot function like that.
Yes. I mean, when this is then this self sabotage starts, right? Like you
Mm-hmm,
said, when we start engaging in these sympathetic ways and conscious ways and pushing harder and trying to, then we try to take pills after
mm-hmm,
pills and try
mm-hmm,
to get therapies done, and then then the cycle kicks in of
mm-hmm,
pain and gain. More I have to
mm-hmm,
push through
mm-hmm,
it. Then we gain weight. We, even though you became an executive with high obesity and so much of you probably already are struggling to achieve, and you can only control so much. At some point you will start seeing that, oh, my family is breaking up, my wife is not supportive, my
My
kids are
kids
not.
don't know who I am.
Yeah, and all the effort I can make is at my job, and if I lose that focus, and that strategy also goes away. And that's why are they so miniature in nature all of a sudden, even though they pushed through so hard. Because when at the young age we don't realize how relaxed we are. As we start growing up, we stop prioritizing ourselves, believe in the external success of things, that external success is what is driving us. Then we suddenly realize that everything has fallen off. What happened? So there is a breaking point in everybody's life. Then they realize that, oh, now I should prioritize myself. I can, nobody even likes me anymore. I don't like to look in the mirror myself. I don't get a
Right.
try to get on the scale, right? So people want to actually look at themselves in the mirror and be proud of every time, but they cannot. They try so many things again the same way to push harder for that too. So it is important that they engage their unconscious mind, which actually only works if you are relaxed. More you relax, it is almost like the theta waves and delta waves that at which your unconscious mind activates, because it's almost like a flower. Anything sensitive, it shuts it down. And
Okay.
whenever there is a fear or anger in you, that shuts down your
Right.
unconscious,
The little
because
flower. Or I told somebody
yeah,
it's like a turtle. They go,
yeah,
oh, right.
yeah. It doesn't want to cause the bigger damage, right? It is protecting you from
Yes.
doing the
Protection
bigger
is
damage.
is the
Yeah, yeah. Its first mechanism is to protect you and secure you, so you don't cause a bigger self sabotage, start harming yourself, right? So it tries to it works in a protective way, in caring way. So you have to feed it in the same way. And during our coaching and clinical hypnosis, or even the employee wellness programs, we help people prioritize according to their goals. Let's say there is a IT executive versus a high financial professionals, or an insurance agent. So they all have different goals and the different job duties they have to perform. They will have different diet needs. They will have different work hours and different kind of mindset needs that they require. Some need to stay sharp. Some need to make more decisions. Some need to communicate more. Everybody has their own mindset needs, food needs, but it is hard to understand this because this is not taught anywhere, right? Hey, I can teach you financial success, leadership success by doing XYZ. No institution teaches this, because
right.
all the financial success, leadership success, the ultimate success depend on who you are, your vision, your communication, your creativity. And in order to activate all that, you have to prioritize yourself, prioritize your employees, so you prioritize their well-being. The more better you are, the more easier your success is.
Right. And you mentioned that we're not taught this. Unfortunately, what we're taught is to compare ourselves to others and to do what they do. It always annoys me when I see articles about, and usually it's somebody like Elon Musk. Like him or hate him, that's beside the point. But it like the articles will say he only sleeps 3 hours a night. So then the implication is, if you want to be that successful, you should only sleep 3 hours a night. Well, I actually question if he only sleeps 3 hours a night. But not many people can do that. And so what we have to find is, as what you were saying, what works for us as the individual. And your programs helps people figure that out.
Yes, the personalization part is what makes us very different from other wellness programs. So other wellness programs are very generic. Hey, go to a gym, follow the XYZ exercises, right? Or join a
That's not
marathon.
me.
And you go there, and hey, why are these people are muscly and lean, and why I'm following the same thing, why it's not working? Because they have personalized at some point to their exercise that doesn't suit you anymore. Even
Right.
the exercise doesn't suit productivity. Even same with the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Your mindset has to be tuned to your personal needs.
Mm-hmm.
Same with the food itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like in Ayurveda, there are different kind of energy: the energy of
Mm-hmm.
fire, energy of earth, energy of
Mm-hmm.
air. So somebody high in ambition will be on high on energy of fire, but again that becomes what is called negative, because they aggravate that energy. Anything spicy they eat, that will aggravate further, so they cannot eat any spicy because they are
Mm.
already ambitious, already have that
Okay.
fiery
Okay.
personality. So that will kill their digestion. So now
Mm-hmm.
they have to eat something that will bring up the energy of air, cooling,
Mm-hmm.
like cucumbers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody high in earth energy will be very, very grounded in the facts. So they cannot have a nutrition that is very comes from the energy of the ground, like
Mm-hmm.
the nuts and
Okay.
any potatoes that comes from the ground, right? Because that already carries the ground energy, and that
Mm-hmm.
will aggravate the energy of earth
Mm-hmm.
more in them and make them feel stuck and
Mm-hmm.
stubborn. And
Mm-hmm.
then if the person highly grounded in the facts is eating potatoes every day, he will be stuck even more.
Mm-hmm.
Versus the highly ambitious person is eating more fiery
Mm-hmm.
food, he will be causing more self
Mm-hmm.
sabotage. So the every nutrition, every diet, every exercise, every mindset module has to be tuned according to your goals.
Mm-hmm.
Because we people make a biggest mistake in the wellness programs and in the helping reprogram subconscious. They try to tune according to, hey, I want to be this, then try to do tune this.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like I have this need, we try to fix the need, we try to fix the issues,
Mm-hmm.
but that doesn't solve anything.
Mm-hmm.
The way to work this out is to understand the goals and understand the strategy behind it,
Mm-hmm.
understand the limitations of that person reaching the goal,
Mm-hmm.
and then tune your food, tune
Mm-hmm.
your exercise,
Mm-hmm.
tune your mind according to that
Mm-hmm.
attainment. So we work backward when we work with the client, almost like helping them step into that self actualization,
Mm-hmm.
we call, like the Maslow's pyramid of self actualization.
Mm-hmm.
People reach on their own up to the level 4 of accomplishment. But when it comes to self actualization, living a purposeful life,
Mm-hmm.
living a goal oriented life,
Mm-hmm.
like even the most successful person like Elon cannot wake up and achieve the goals on himself. So he has money to spend to achieve
Mm-hmm.
his goals. Like everybody is not luxurious the same way, right? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so how do a person wake up every day and step into their goals instead
Mm-hmm.
of waking up with so many thoughts and
Right.
then
Or wanting to
uh,
pull the covers over and just go back,
yeah, and then
right?
go back go back
Mm-hmm.
in the bed, or you start eating something that
Mm-hmm.
they don't eat,
Mm-hmm.
they want to eat, and then by the end of the day they wanted to do something, ended up doing something, and their relationships are off, their goals
Mm-hmm.
are off. Why is all this happening?
Mm-hmm.
I actually wanted, like I was just speaking a few hours ago to an executive at a food chain company where they provide the food services to the university student. His goal always has been to make sure that the students are fed the happiest meal, but he's stuck in the strategy to at least get the delivery done.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that strategic gap where
Mm-hmm.
he's now stuck in able to get the deliveries done and be
Mm-hmm.
happy with it, versus to make sure the student are fed the right meals and they are
Mm-hmm.
giving a feedback that they
Mm-hmm.
have the right meal? So why is such a big strategic gap in this executive trying to achieve that outcome? Is he because he's not capacitated to fill that
Mm-hmm.
gap? He doesn't have the skills, doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have right tactics, right
Mm-hmm.
strategy, doesn't right education. He had
Mm-hmm.
everything. He's a graduate from a bigger university. He had been experienced in this for
Mm-hmm.
20 years. He so desperately want to fill this strategic
Mm-hmm.
gap, but his mind is not coming to his rescue.
Right.
What do I am doing wrong?
Mm-hmm.
And then so many things around him falling away. He put so much
Mm-hmm.
of weight. He's almost like 100 lb over.
Mm-hmm.
Why is this happening?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because that strategic gap is coming
Mm-hmm.
because you are not able to step every minute into your purposeful life,
Mm-hmm.
because we have to push harder to do the if you are
Mm-hmm.
want to accomplish something, you have to
Mm-hmm.
push harder. But the easier part is to step into your purpose, step into the goals.
Mm-hmm.
That is the easy part. You cannot do easy part until you're relaxed.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And
Because
then that
otherwise we're just so keyed up that we can't get to that part.
Yeah, yes. So that relaxation has to come. Then you need a coach who can relax you.
Right.
You need the wellness program.
Mm-hmm.
You need the hypnotherapy to
Mm-hmm.
relax you, and then let your mind work
Mm-hmm.
in a way that it is working in a relaxation way.
Mm-hmm.
That strategic gap is huge difference,
Mm-hmm.
like $1 million difference, right? When you are able to make a happy customer versus end up able to manage the delivery, it's where the
Mm-hmm.
company could lose millions of
Mm-hmm.
dollars, or
Right.
executive could lose
Mm-hmm.
the $1 million
Mm-hmm.
deals. Like
Mm-hmm.
if the student is saying that, oh, this is the happiest meal I have, there will be more people
Mm-hmm.
wanting that meal
Mm-hmm.
versus, oh, I somehow got the meal and it is only catering to
Mm-hmm.
those really need a meal.
Mm-hmm.
So it will not reach the people that will just want to
Mm-hmm.
enjoy the food. They could go anywhere else and
Mm-hmm.
enjoy the food.
Right. Well, and of course it's so hard when you're dealing with trying to feed so many people, because they all have their individual needs. And what you're told is, well, I'm thinking back to way back to when I was going to the cafeteria, right, in high school. There were no selections. You got fed whatever lunch lady wanted
Or
to feed you, right? And and that was based on budget. There was probably some nutrition in there, that they were thinking about, because I don't remember that we really got a lot of sugar. I also don't remember that we got a lot of protein. And but everybody got the same thing, or they had to bring their lunch. And so that's where that challenge comes in. But it's like what we were saying, all of this is very person specific, very individualized.
Yes. I mean, the personalization is where the money is.
Mm-hmm.
If you are not
Mm-hmm.
able to personalize your strategy to
Mm-hmm.
influence your customer, influence your outcome,
Mm-hmm.
influence yourself, your relationship. We are only talking about the person struggling so far with their job. What about
Mm-hmm.
the influence this has on their children, the way they look?
Mm-hmm.
Because we are transferring this as a generational
Mm-hmm.
trauma by
Right.
putting of our trauma. What we are transferring is
Mm-hmm.
not the wealth to our children, but the trauma we
Mm-hmm.
experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like right now, as per the strategic, every other adult experiences some kind of trauma and stress by the age of 16,
Mm-hmm.
and by the age of 40 they are experiencing even more severe symptoms
Mm-hmm.
of health related
Mm-hmm.
issues, and the diabetic risk is even more
Mm-hmm.
prevalent. So why is this is kind of epidemic that we are just pushing
Mm-hmm.
this as a society
Mm-hmm.
away and passing this to the next
Mm-hmm.
generation? What if we can say we can prioritize the mastery of the mind, now that the science is backing the unconscious
Mm-hmm.
mind being the 80% of your
Mm-hmm.
capacity? The what you eat makes difference, not
Mm-hmm.
only in your food, but the
Mm-hmm.
way you influence and the
Mm-hmm.
outcomes. So why are we still not prioritizing this as a
Mm-hmm.
number one strategy in
Mm-hmm.
achieving outcomes?
Right.
Because people start in this message that outcomes depend on the external factors. It
Mm-hmm.
depends on someone else. It
Mm-hmm.
depends on
Yeah,
external
we're
process.
waiting on somebody to fix it
Ye-
for us.
yeah. Who is that somebody? What are we waiting on? What
Mm-hmm.
is the process need to happen? So that all these external factors that need to drive success is like you said, doesn't even exist. The
Mm-hmm.
success depends. If you look at yourself, like even you have made certain choices, prioritize yourself, that led you to be who you are today. And same goes with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
If they relax and think a bit, even the success they achieved is because they prioritize at some point their own well-being. They prioritize, oh, I need to cut off this unhealthy relationship, I need to
Mm-hmm.
cut off this unhealthy
Mm-hmm.
food. That's the way they started proceeding. They had to cut off so many things and started proceeding in a healthy ways, have a healthy mindset. They need to zone themselves out. Right now we call it zoning out, like
Mm-hmm.
try to prioritize
Mm-hmm.
ourselves, lock
Mm-hmm.
ourselves in order to
Right.
make a decision, right? Nobody makes a decision in a crowded area anymore. You
Mm-hmm.
have to go into a secluded room to make a
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
decision because your mind is not working,
Mm-hmm.
because you're in a high
Right.
stress thinking. So
And we're thinking,
why?
ooh, what's on Facebook? What are they doing? Right?
Yeah. Yes, yes. So instead of physically now trying to achieve the seclusion, we have
Mhm,
so much of capacity in our mind to achieve that
mhm,
seclusion, even in
mhm,
the crowded area. You can study and you can achieve your goals.
mhm,
You can start your life all over again without fear, because
mhm,
when you are actually living with your the external factors, you are driving that fear with you. You're
mhm,
never overcoming the fear, never
mhm,
overcoming the self doubt.
mhm,
Even the CEOs have self doubt. They engage in a lot of activities these days. We see that we don't expect from the CEOs. Why
mhm,
is such a person reached so high,
mhm,
is engaging in the activities we don't? A lot of people are shocked ethically. Why would
mhm,
a person at the highest level engage in unethical activities
mhm,
or look obese? Or
mhm,
what is wrong with these
mhm,
people, even though they are the highest level, right?
mhm,
Because they started pushing this burnout and
mhm,
everything to the side,
mhm,
and now they are stuck by themselves, nobody to help them at the highest level,
mhm,
and they are nobody to even
mhm,
open up a conversation. Hey, I have a burnt out, I'm
mhm,
burnt out so much, and I'm stressed out. There is no coach to help them.
mhm,
So this is where we come in, to help the CEOs or executives, where they can open up and
mhm,
say, I have burnt out, instead of
mhm,
doing things that will ultimately lose their jobs and
mhm,
affect their business outcomes. So they can open up to people like
mhm,
me, who will help them reprogram that unconscious, or reprogram that memory habit functions,
mhm,
and help them get back on the
mhm,
autopilot that they had some point. That passion that they drove, that is
mhm,
forgotten, and they are started believing that doing this evil ways is now the right choice, and
mhm,
then started engaging in unethical ways. Instead, once they realize that what brought them to that position is their passion and the purpose, and they can now go back to stepping into that,
mhm,
and then believing that more relaxed they are, more the better they are,
mhm,
and more the better the outcome, then we will start seeing a huge shift in the society,
mhm,
in the outcomes, in the financial success, in every
mhm,
aspect of the life, when people start prioritizing their self mastery.
mhm. Right. Well, and it all starts at the top, right? So when you've got your CEO or your leaders or whoever, when they start following these practices, then it starts going down through the organization, which is a good thing, right? Because they're recognizing, hey, this is important, and so then they're saying, okay, hey, employees, here's, you're important to us, not because you're making us money. Sure, that's nice, but we want you to be as best as you can be, because when you're at your best, you're going to do the best work. And so that's when they really are saying, hey, let's start having these programs, and making sure that our employees are following this. But it really, it's as you said, at that very top, the first thing they have to do is admit that they need help, which is one of the hardest things, because then in their mind, they're saying, but I'm the boss, I'm the owner, I'm the whatever. I shouldn't need help. And I tell people with some of the things that I deal with, sometimes the absolute strongest thing you can do is to ask for help. And whatever it is, but especially if you are needing assistance from somebody else, and whether it's, a coach, a therapist, a nutritionist, whatever it is, admitting that you need that help is the thing. And the other thing is, we as the business owner, the executive, whatever, we don't want to admit that we don't know it all. And by asking somebody to help us, we're having to say, "Ooh, I don't know it all." And that's the other thing that's really hard for us.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. I mean, like asking for help is something we have forgotten. Like it's
Mm-hmm,
like a tradition. Like we always think like we are supposed to help others, or
mm-hmm,
even the most people that are willing to help others
mm-hmm,
forget to ask for help
mm-hmm,
and open up,
mm-hmm,
be vulnerable, because a lot of people don't realize that vulnerability. When you are
mm-hmm,
exposing your vulnerability,
mm-hmm,
you're also opening up the creativity, because
mm-hmm,
what's blocking you is that fear center. We have like a peanut-sized brain in our system called amygdala,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and this is almost a very tiny piece within our system, and when people shrink into not seeking help, they shrink into the shame, they shrink into the shamefulness. Then that kicks off anger because they are now frustrated, and then that kicks off self-doubt. Then they kicks off more and more fear. So this they get stuck in this vicious cycle. Hey, I want to get out of the shame feeling. I want to reach for help, but then the anger kicks in. Oh, why I should? The
Why do I
ego
need
comes in.
help?
Yeah, I'm the boss now, and then they think that, oh no, I will lose that bossy feeling by trying to seek help. Now if they try to get over that, then this now they didn't seek the help. Then the self doubt comes in. Am I really worthy this, and am I really worthy that? And if they try to get over the self doubt, then the fear kicks in. Now, oh, I'm behind my things because I wasted an hour thinking about this. So.
Right.
And then there's a cycle. They cannot escape the cycle. Now they're shrunk into that peanut-sized brain of amygdala. And like, if you know dragons, they just have amygdala. Most of the animals are high in this amygdala. They have like bigger amygdalas than
Right.
us. And if you know dragon, somebody touches the amygdala, it listen to them. Even such a huge creature will be in a fear because somebody touches their amygdala, because that is driven by that fear center. That is when the fear takes over, it feels like the whole world is fearful. Everything we
Right.
look in the terms of fear. So it is so powerful that it consumes our tiny peanut-sized brain, can control us. Like anything that happens around us can control us. And we will now start be careful about the external things and try to try to cushion those external things, try to protect our identity, protect the processes, and then they can only hold you up to certain extent. And sometimes you'll be exposed like, hey, I was expecting the CEO to come and make this decision, and like he's kind of stayed in the meeting. So what happened there? Like, because you didn't ask for help, you didn't open up, and you didn't realize the burnout, you didn't realize the stress, and then you are now led by a tiny peanut sized brain, even though what got you there was your
giant
unconscious,
brain.
your giant brain. So how do then people switch, right? So yeah, I mean, this is where people like me come in, help the executive coaches turn off that amygdala and bypass that amygdala and shut down that amygdala, and then activate that unconscious mind, which is called parasympathetic nervous system, which engages their prefrontal cortex, pineal glands, and auditory function to help them be more creative, drive that energies that are more higher in nature, and help their heart heal from anything that coming of the grieving. Because anything that could have happened to you from now, your life could have impacted in so many ways, could be a reason for that thought to trigger, and your amygdala will kick off. It is so sensitive that amygdala will kick off even if you had your cat all of a sudden not look at you and probably come to you. It walked away for
Right.
some
You're
other.
like, what'd I do? Why is the cat mad at me?
Yeah, so like, and then that madness translate into another it's called a trance state.
Yeah, because then the dog doesn't like you, then your kid doesn't like you, then
So you keep carrying this trance, and now you have almost a prism you logged into of this. I'm not liked because my cat didn't like me. Nobody likes me. What happened all of a sudden? Because you logged into a prism
and
of
it was
nobody
a
likes me.
cat. The cat doesn't like anybody.
Yeah, maybe cat had to pee, or cat was in a
I
rush, or cat
know.
had,
Yeah.
you don't know. I mean, cat like, and by evening you come back, you realize cat is all over you and liking you. I wasted
Right.
all my day
Right.
thinking my cat didn't like me. It was a false alarm, but your mind took over. What happened? All of you wasted a day. It's not the cat. It could be anything that could take over, because you are so stressed, because you are so subjective to anything that can happen, because you're not standing with the authority. We call it your self mastery has 4 key ingredients: authority, like I written in my book, awareness, action, and authorship. So when you are not able to author your life and live according to it, you become second best, because you're reacting to it. You're second guessing everything.
Right.
When you don't have the action needed, you're second guessing it. When you don't have the authority needed, you are always in conflict of everything, because your inner dialogue is lost. You are listening to outside voices. And when you don't have the necessary awareness, which is almost like a North Star effect, you are easily subjected mind to anything, that any issue, and you will react to that issue instead of trying to do positive things. Now you're doing negative things because you don't maintain the level of awareness required. So to be a self master, you have to be aware, you have to be author, you have to have the action, you have to be have the authority. So we help uh, executives and the employees achieve these four ingredients in their mind. That way now they are driving with self mastery. Imagine you have your own inner dialogue that is free of conflict, free of ego, because ego comes when you are driving from accomplishments or securities. Your real dialogue comes when you are purposeful and goal oriented. But it is not easy to step into that until your
Right.
unconscious is able to do it. And we can help executives and leaders step into that purpose and goal and have that inner dialogue, which is always of authority. And now they know that when their success is coming from their authority, they will be able to put up the false alarms and negative ways, because they know the positive ways of doing things are leading to success.
Right.
They know that they have everything in control because now you have inner dialogue. Sometimes people hear voices of their spouse, to children, to their spouses, because they have no authority anywhere. Their children are telling them what to do, from their employees are telling them external, because we have given up that authority, because we are influenced by, from the cat to dogs to everything around us, to tell us what to do, be in fear and react according to it.
Right. And those inner stories, those inner voices that we're telling ourselves, I mean, how many times has it been, you saw somebody and they didn't say hello? And it's kind of like the cat ignoring you, right?
Yeah.
And and we weave it into this whole huge story. And of course, what you're saying is, okay, acknowledge that they didn't say hello and then stop that story.
Yes.
And go on,
Yeah.
and acknowledge maybe they didn't see you, maybe they're sidetracked, maybe they don't like you, but it doesn't matter.
Yes.
And we, but we're so used to those inner stories. That's what gets us through the day. So what are some of the ways, and you teach, a lot of things. You talk about NLP, neuro linguistic programming, self-hypnosis, meditation, things like that. So how do we work to stop those stories? They're going to start,
Yes.
it's just kind of there, but then how do we say, okay, we're stopping and now we're going on? How do we what are some of the processes we can go through?
Yes, in NLP, there is a concept, a very beautiful concept called requisite authority. A person with requisite authority controls everything.
Okay.
So we lose the control when you have that missing that requisite authority, even in the system or in personal interactions, even with your cat. Your authority is now, the cat is deciding your relationship status all of a sudden, right? Either your wife is deciding, or your husband is deciding your relationship status, or your children. So you lost that requisite authority, not because of your fault, because your mind is now in a reactive state, because you're in a so the way our we consume information according to NLP, we are like a cybernetic loop. We consume information from our internal state, from then external things, and then from our relationship.
Okay.
So all these things fill in the information in us all the time, and you're like a soaking sponge of information. This sponge cannot be empty at any time. That means your information is
Right.
always full.
Right.
You're
Because
in a
if it's
state.
an empty sponge, it dries up and, it's
Yes,
gone.
yes. Yeah, it's like a sponge in the water, right? So it's so the information is always coming from your internal state, what is happening to me, what is going on, my thoughts, my feeling, and the external environment, successes, work, and other issues, and then all the relationship you have, from your work to your cats to your children. So all this is like, think of everything is now an information exchange. paradigm. It is actually happening to you. So you are soaking in all the information from your cats and dog to spouses and children to your coworkers, and you're soaking in information in and out from social media influence. So that's why everybody can influence us, because you're taking that information. It's called neurolinguistics. So according to NLP, you are almost like a language. If you turn yourself and you can write a book about you open up yourself, your mind, actually what you see is your written book. All this information is not stored like a word to word, but it is stored in a distorted way, in a generalized way. It almost like a deleted way. Like if you remember some accident or some event that happened, you will almost not remember all the facts. But again, when you relax and think about it, you will even recall the color of the car and everything. That's because the way neurolinguistics work, it's almost like a language that we store in. So when we are in a reactive state, we don't have enough capacity to process that language, to bring that distorted information back to life, saying that, oh, my cat is actually not angry with me. It is a distorted message.
A cat is my cat.
Yeah, cat is my cat. Where is that authority, right? Exactly. So that authority is missing because your distortion of interpretation is according to neurolinguistic. But when you are in a what you call well-framed mindset, that distortion is lost, because now you have a well-framed relationship, well-framed mindset of interpreting that the response from the cat and saying, hey, this is my cat. I am now with authority saying this is my cat, like you said. Why can it be mad at me? So that authority dialogue kicks in. Then you shut off that dialogue and say, hey, cat, come back here. It'll come back to you. You will stop paying probably. So that's what happens.
Right. And it is interesting how the world kind of affects us, right? My mom passed away last year, but she was one of these people who loved the news, right? She would have the major networks on 24 hours a day, and it drove me nuts. In her house, she has every right to do that, right? But the thing about the news, and I don't care which network it is, it's not really good news, right? So she was continually being bombarded with this negative, 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 negative. And she started being this negative, nasty person that people didn't want to be around. And on her own, which I love this, she came to that conclusion. And so she limited the number of hours she would watch news. Because, you got to know a little bit about what's going on in the world. But she really did limit it. And the rest of the time, she had on the Hallmark Channel. I thought that was the funniest thing, but it was amazing, the shift in her personality almost, and it was, but yeah, it is, are we around negative people? Are we reading too much on social media that is the sky is falling, gloom and doom? Or are we, I'm a big supporter and fan of, we gotta laugh more, right? We need to really, I don't care if it means you're watching I Love Lucy or, whatever it is. What are we going to do to kind of break out of that? And it's kind of like, saying, well, it's just the cat. What are we putting into our brains and our bodies that is going to help us?
Yes, that is great. I mean, like what it's more important, like as Abraham Maslow said, what a person can do must do. Until you are at the capacity of your highest purpose, you cannot be satisfied. You're always like trying to find the answers after answers,
and it's a vicious circle.
Yeah, you're finding the answers from the external solutions. Like you're trying to solve the external problem, while the problem is that you have not stepped into what you can be. it's called state of being. When you
Mm-hmm.
are in a state of being, you're more receptive and more enjoying, more
Mm-hmm.
aware, more authority.
Mm-hmm.
When you are in a state of doing and
Mm-hmm.
state of kind of having something, then like the deciding between the Hallmark versus the
Mm-hmm.
Showtime. So you're not being what you can be.
Mm-hmm.
When like you're not elevated in your
Mm-hmm.
mind, you're not engaging in
Mm-hmm.
that elevated state of mind and
Mm-hmm.
energies, where all the decisions are coming to you. It's
Mm-hmm.
almost like your conscious mind is at the bottom of you,
Mm-hmm.
even though it looks at the top. Your
Mm-hmm.
actual unconscious mind is at the top of you, but
Mm-hmm.
the way we feel is like conscious things are on top of us, and we
Mm-hmm.
have to make external decisions, react to the external
Mm-hmm.
things. So the way achieve the self mastery is to enter a state of being of what you can do and
Mm-hmm.
remain at it.
Mm-hmm.
To maintain that state, you have to be purposeful and you have to engage your relaxed mind.
Mm-hmm.
Once you make a habit of
Mm-hmm.
it, through some kind of coaching like we
Mm-hmm.
provide, and the wellness
Mm-hmm.
programs,
Mm-hmm.
and then you will get the answers, because your mind, believe it or not, is like of a capacity of almost like you combine tens of millions of these AIs
Mm-hmm.
and quad core computers.
Mm-hmm.
No human can be replaced by an AI, because
Mm-hmm.
they don't have that. Each of the quad core computer is worth $50,000
Mm-hmm.
right now, and they're still making it. We have trillions of them.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Imagine how much of AI we have. Then
Mm-hmm.
why
Right.
is it
Mm-hmm.
our capacity feels like less than an AI to
Mm-hmm.
find an answer or to do anything?
Mm-hmm.
Because we are doing what AI is doing,
Mm-hmm.
like finding an answers by searching, and
Mm-hmm.
finding an answers by Googling. Instead, we have bigger capacity
Mm-hmm.
that AI doesn't have. We have the capacity to be authoritative, to
Mm-hmm.
be strategic,
Mm-hmm.
AI can achieve more tactical answer, but when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to strategy, only humans can have that capacity to
Mm-hmm.
decide what is good, what
Mm-hmm.
is bad, what is
Mm-hmm.
ethical, and to achieve an
Mm-hmm.
outcome in 10,000 different ways.
Right.
uh, because we have so much of capacity at our rescue, we can activate it when you are being in a state of
Mm-hmm.
being
Mm-hmm.
purposeful and being goal oriented.
Mm-hmm.
Often we step into this trying to accomplish, trying to have and do
Mm-hmm.
something, and trying to end up in a reactive ways that
Mm-hmm.
will sabotage us.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, seek a coach like me to
Mm-hmm.
help you navigate that roadmap of
Mm-hmm.
where you are into where we can experience this
Mm-hmm.
kind of tremendous mind shift. Once
Mm-hmm.
you experience it, you'll start believing in it. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard to believe. A lot of people think like all the self-sabotage, burnout is the way of life and there is no solution to
Mm-hmm.
it. But
Mm-hmm.
if you can experience for 1 second the type of relaxation we are talking
Mm-hmm.
about, the type of mind capacity you
Mm-hmm.
have, you will believe like
Mm-hmm.
you are wasting yourself without having this kind of
Mm-hmm.
capacity.
Right. Well, oh my gosh, Dr. EK, this is absolutely fascinating. We've just scratched the surface on this, so we have to have you on again. And especially because there is so much going on, and what can we do to help ourselves? And so I would love to have you on again. But for people who are saying, I need to know more, how do they find you and what are the services that you provide?
Yes, excellent question. So the services we provide are the coaching for leaders
Mm-hmm.
that want to, achieve this level of
Mm-hmm.
mind capacity to achieve their goals and outcomes and be personal best in life and relationship. And the second thing we provide is for corporates, businesses,
Mm-hmm.
employee wellness programs. We provide we help the HR leaders achieve
Mm-hmm.
kind of reduction in absenteeism,
Mm-hmm.
to reduction in turnover, in helping reduce their health risks of the employee and
Mm-hmm.
cutting their health premiums. So we have done it over and over. So the best way to reach out to me is through my website, ekmallela.com.
Mm-hmm.
We also have a business website, thetranscendmind.com.
Mm-hmm.
Either of these websites are good for reach out to to me. If you're a business owner, or if you are an individual that wants to achieve executive coaching or the employee wellness program at your business, I'm here to support you and achieve this level of transformation that we just talked about.
Great. And we will also have a link to your book in the notes. This really has been so interesting, especially on World Relaxation Day. And as we're recording, it's a Friday. So folks, let's take it easy on the weekend. Take it easy on yourself, right? I think that's the first thing, is we need to recognize it's okay. It really is okay. But this has been just absolutely delightful. And until we have you on again, do you have any final thoughts that you want to leave everyone with?
Yes, thank you again, Deb, for having me. Finally, prioritize yourself. Your well-being is the best strategy you can have for your success. It will not only knock off the singular goal, but it will knock off all of the goals at once for you, and even take you to be 100 times better than who you are. So prioritize yourself, and reach out to me for any help I can provide.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm Deb Creer. I've been having so much fun getting to know Dr. E.K. Mallela. And until next time, everyone have a great day.
Tune in for our next program for even more trends, best practices, and techniques for how to make your business a success. The Business Power Hour, hosted by Deb Creer, is proud to be part of the C-Suite Network.